guys you want to bring in?
Yeah, I think recruiting is it's one of those things you got to do every single day. You got to be relentless and tireless about it. And I think, again, like I said about coaching, I think you just be yourself. Some guys are fast talkers and salesmen, all that, and some guys are everyone has their own way. And my way is I'm very straightforward and honest with people, and I'm just I'm genuine with my dealings with them. Just keep going through it. I think the year you mentioned about being named recruiter of the year and all, and obviously anytime you're named those types of awards. It's rewarding, it's exciting, but you know what? There's so many people that go into recruiting a guy, to actually signing a guy. I mean, it's kind of a humbling thing to say, that wasn't me. I mean, we had an entire recruiting staff, not to mention the rest of the coaches on that staff that did a phenomenal job, all part of it. Obviously, the head coach is a huge part of it. There's so many people that go into it, and that's the recruiting process has become that. There's so many people involved. It's got to be a total team effort, and that year in particular, and in all years, that it really was.
DJ Don Marcus from the Baltimore Sun. Your familiarity with guys like coaches like Urban Meyer, Jim Harbaugh, and even coaching, in the Big Ten this year. You talk about competing for championships. You obviously know how difficult that will be. What gives you the feeling that you can do that at a place like the University of Maryland?
Yeah, I think it all starts with any good organization has proper alignment. I think if from the top down, if you have alignment and a culture where everyone's pushing in the same direction, the sky's the limit. You can accomplish anything. In our industry in particular, now talking about football, again with our recruiting base and in our backyard, I know we could recruit the right talent to be here, and so. You mix an organization that's aligned right, a healthy culture. I mean, we are going to be energy equals production. So this entire building will be filled with high energy people that are excited about coming to work and go do it from the top on down. And you get a group of people doing that, and everyone pushing in the same direction. That's really hard to stop. That's the intent.
DJ, David Monaco, Terrapin Thompson, right in front of you, Coach. How soon, obviously open recruiting period now, how soon are you going to be hitting the road with your assistants, and where do you plan on going?
Yeah, we'll be hitting it soon. Where I'm going, not totally set yet. We're going through it here later today. We're going to sit down and meet and go through that and strategize the best ways to do that. And so, the biggest thing for me is getting on the phone with the guys that we're actively recruiting, and as well as getting new guys on board, and then just hit the ground running. We're right in the middle of a contact period, so we got to take advantage of this time.
DJ over here on your right, Craig Heist from 106.7 The Fan. In your mind, having coached in this league now, in this conference, what kind of players do you specifically look for now as you recruit, put things together? What kind of player does it take to win in this conference?
I think the overall thing, no matter where you are, and I wish I had, if I had the formula to figure this out all the time, 100%, I mean, be pretty darn good. But I think you're trying to find guys that are competitive. I think that's the characteristic that carries over anything. We've all seen a guy ranked 4 or 5 star, and he goes wherever and never quite pans out to what everyone thought he was going to be. And then you see the unheralded guy that was a 2 or 3 star that goes and becomes an All-American. And you look at it and go through it, and what's the difference? I think guys that are competitors, they find a way to get to the top. Whatever environment they're in, they're going to fight and scrap and somehow get to the top of that environment. And those are the types of guys we're looking for in this conference. Obviously, we know we have stiff competition in this conference. Let's get a bunch of guys that embrace competition, embrace adversity. Like savor those moments and enjoy that, and want to go do great things. And so that's getting to know guys in the recruiting process, ask the right questions, get a feel for them, and then you get a room full of them, and you're pretty good.
Hey DJ, Charles Walker with the Baltimore Sun. This is kind of a two-parter. First of all, people who know you always talk about your incredible energy level, and I think you've talked about it too. Where do you inherit that from? That would be part one. And then part two, can you maybe cite a few specific ways in which you were shaped by growing up in Boardman, Ohio?
Okay, good questions. I'm not quite sure where the energy comes from or whatever. I just I don't know. I think I've always kind of been that way as a player, as a coach. I'm sure there's probably some stories we can go through, maybe good or bad, but I think at the end of the day, I truly believe just being yourself. So I don't think it's again, everyone has to be, high energy or whatever it is. Just be yourself. That's me. And that's who I am every day. And I think, being positive and being confident with what you're doing, I think those are good things. I think where I come from, yeah, I mean, what a great area to learn what blue collar mentality is all about and what hard work is. And you gotta earn your keep. And that goes from the upbringing of my parents. That goes from the people I worked with. Growing up in high school, I had a job and always learned a lot of those values from there. With Palani Construction, that's a good company. Those guys, but you learn that. I mean, you just learn that how you got to work and be blue collar, and you know what? Don't talk about it, just be about it.
DJ, Chris Mark, CTV, Prince George's Television. Back to recruiting. Obviously, University of Maryland, located right here in Prince George's County. Obviously, some great talent here in the county. How do you hope to keep some of those top-notch players here and bring them to the University of Maryland?
Recruiting is all about relationships, and relationships are built through time, through adversity, through you go through circumstances together. And so I just plan on just starting from day one and just being consistent and continue to build those relationships. I don't think there's any magic thing to say or call and all of a sudden win everyone over. It's just that they're going to understand. They're going to get consistent feedback from myself and my staff. They're going to get consistent effort on our end recruiting, evaluation, and they're going to get honest feedback and honest evaluations from us. And just start to cultivate and continue to build those relationships. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And just eventually over time that you break into it. And then there's a sense of pride from this area and the people in it to say, you know what, we want to play for the hometown team. And you know why? Because they're darn good and we like what they're doing on the field. I mean, that we got to hold our part into the bargain too and show what we're going to do. And all of a sudden then it starts going in the right direction.
DJ, over to your left, Daniel Martin, Comcast Sportsnet. Obviously, you're a defensive guy, now being in charge of all three phases of everything, especially on the offensive side. What are some of the hurdles you have to get over, and what are some things you can do to help yourself get over those, obviously, as you continue to build your staff?
Just speaking that way, I mean, defensively and special teams wise, I mean, I have a really good, clear picture of how that'll go and what we're going to do offensively. I have a really clear picture of what I don't like seeing, what gives us problems, and the things. I mean, I've kept good note of that throughout the years, and so I know what I want that to look like. I think I can provide a great perspective to an offensive coordinator from that angle, from something different. I believe as a head coach, you have to coach the coaches and be involved in everything, and not just. I don't see myself as being just the defensive coordinator. I'll be involved with it all and hire capable people that can come in and do a great job and call it and have their fingerprints on it.
DJ Dave Preston, WTOP Radio, congratulations. You played for Gary Blackney at Bowling Green. He was an assistant here. I'm wondering if you had any conversations with him as they were zeroing in on you, and also, I guess, competing in the MAC as a player. How did that prepare you as an eventual coach in the Big Ten East?
Yeah, I've not spoken to Gary about this job yet, but I will at some point. He's been a great mentor to me. I think he's a great person, great coach, and I'm very thankful for the time I was able to have with him. I think the competition overall. I mean, I think playing wise, coaching wise, yeah, it all prepares you. You learn things. You learn about yourself a lot. Involved in competition in moments of adversity and when you're really up against it, and you also learn about the people around you. That's a lot how our staff will be shaped. Guys that I've been through it with before, so I know how they're going to respond. I mean, as many of those guys we get on the staff, the better. And I mean, that's what you find out about yourself. And like I said, I want to fill our staff and our team with a bunch of guys that embrace that environment where it's competitive.
This is a question for Kevin. Peter Schmuck, Baltimore Sun. Kevin. The day you started this process, you seemed to be talking a lot about head coaching experience. You used the term excite the fan base. Could you talk about the process and how the job description kind of evolved for you and led to DJ?
Peter, first it was based on leadership and who was going to be the best leader for our young men. And so as I went through the process, we started to meet with many people, and at the end of the day, person who stuck out in our mind was DJ from the very beginning. I mean, what he talked about, the leadership, the energy that he had, the people that I talked to that knew him, we knew that he was the right person for our job.
This question question's for DJ, Josh Stern, Inside Maryland Sports. You mentioned the competition a lot, but was there any extra added appeal being able to go against Urban Meyer and Jim Harbaugh, two guys that you've obviously very familiar with?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I mean, I know those guys very well. They're very important to me and my family. But you know, it's like healthy competition is good. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, you want to, you know, beat up on your brother sometimes, and then but you know, if anyone else does, you got a problem with it. And so, no, there wasn't any extra motivation or anything that way. I just think without specific people, just the way this conference and in particular this division has shaped up and how it's gone. I mean, that it's the top of the country, you know, and so you have an opportunity to recruit the best in the country, I believe, because the best of the best want to play in the best, and so that's where we are. As we play week in and week out, and those are the guys we want to be involved with recruiting, and we're gonna take our swings and fight our battles, and hopefully just keep plugging away and winning more and more.
Over here, Scott Green, Rivals.com. Having spent a month, you know, at the end of last season, taking over for Will Muschamp and, you know, preparing as a head coach and winning a bowl game, do you think you're better prepared for this opportunity because of that, even though you're coming in as a coordinator?
Without a doubt, 100%. It was a great experience for, you know, although it was a short-lived amount of time, it was an unbelievable experience. Jeremy Foley was great to me, a great guy to do that under. I appreciate him for entrusting me to do that. And it really, you know, you never think totally that way until you sit in that seat and you have to think big picture-wise. And I think it really, if nothing else, reiterated to me what is important about coaching. I think we had a group of guys right there that went and played in a game that was, you know, in many ways probably not what they were intending to do when their careers set out in Florida, and what they did was they came together and played really well, played a very good team, and won the game. And I truly believe that was because of the relationships they had with one another, with myself and with our coaching staff. And I think that's what this all comes down to. I think it's a matter of guys, you know, getting in a room together, believing in something bigger than themselves, and trusting one another and building those relationships. I think that's our job as coaches, and I think that particular circumstance totally illustrated that, and just again reemphasized to me how important that is.
DJ Don Marcus from the Baltimore Sun. You talked about recruiting, getting on the road. Has any determination made about Mike Loxley in his role, if he's going to stay on? And do you have to almost plan one way or the other in terms of recruiting, maybe getting somebody else in here to help with the recruiting, make sure that they have ties, you know, somebody with ties to the DC area?
So I'm in the process now of getting with our entire staff, Mike as well as everyone else on the staff, to kind of go through where we're at and update them on that. You know, I want the staff to keep working right now and just doing what they're doing. They've obviously done a heck of a job at putting together a really good recruiting class and built relationships, and I don't want that to just be cut off and stop. And then, you know, Mike as well as everyone else will be evaluated, and we'll go through that process as we go.
DJ Bruce Posner from CBS Sports Radio in Baltimore. You obviously know about the tremendous relationship that Maryland has with Under Armour. How excited are you to work with Under Armour in the growth of Maryland?
Yeah, I think it's one of those unique relationships in the country. I mean, you know, maybe one other one that would be similar. So yeah, absolutely, it's a great selling point for recruiting. It's a you know, great selling point for myself and other coaches to join this program and be a part of it. And I think, you know, that's one of those things we'll continue to grow and cultivate that and work that as we go down the road.
Any more questions? All right, thank you.
All right, guys, thank you.
Photo opportunities right here.